Hi, welcome to Rebel Roots Nutrition. I'm Carla Abate, your host. I'm board certified in holistic nutrition and I'm certified as a nutrition therapy master. I also have a background in early childhood education and a certification as postpartum doula. So this is a space where we're going to be able to come together and discuss nutrition and wellness topics as they relate to preconception, pregnancy, and postpartum. So thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Rebel Roots Nutrition Episode 1. I'm Carla Abate, your host, and I have a special guest with me today, Leanne Hill, who's a dear friend and colleague of mine. She is a holistic esthetician that is the co-founder and owner of Be Theory Aesthetics. Yes. So welcome, Lee.
Thank you, Carla. I'm so delighted to be here with you. It's really amazing to be doing this work together in our lives.
I fully agree. Super excited about our conversation for the day. Today, we're going to talk about just, what we put on our skin, thinking about some of the chemicals that we should be looking out for. So, and also thinking about some of the alternatives, because, skincare and is self-care. And my population of people that I work with typically as a nutrition therapist are women during the perinatal stages. So fertility, pregnancy, all the way through postpartum and lactation. And it's really important to consider what we're putting on our skin since we absorb so much of that into our bloodstream. I also work with people around gut health as well. And so I'm a firm believer, and I think Lee would agree with this, but that just, our skin is really a reflection of what is going on inside of our gut and at a deeper nutritional level. Would you agree with that, Lee?
Absolutely. So I love this conversation because when I see clients for skincare, so many of the symptoms that we see on our skin are really kind of those red flags indicating that there are other things going on at a much deeper level in the body. And so those are the things that I tend to be really interested in and have conversations with my clients about, like, how is your liver function? How's your gut health? How's your elimination? All of those things. How's your stress level? Our nervous system and our gut health are really deeply connected to our skin health. So those are things I'm always curious about. What is your lifestyle like? How are you managing all the things you need to manage in life? Because the skin really reflects that. And when it shows up on the skin, that's kind of like one of the last stages of like, wow, there's really something kind of big going on.
Absolutely. Great. Well, if we could dive in, I'd like to start with hearing from you about some of the major different types of chemicals. Like there's often chemicals in different classes, like that are carcinogenic, that are endocrine disruptors, and also heavy metals. And so could you briefly kind of give us an overview of some of the major ones that we should be looking out for that are found in a lot of our conventional products?
Absolutely. So I want to give you a little context as we dive into this conversation. So here in the United States, we have 50 kind of chemical constituencies that are banned for use in personal care products.
Okay.
If you look at Canada and Europe, there are over 4,000 ingredients that are banned.
Wow, that's different.
So the regulation here in the US is very, very minimal in terms of looking at personal care products. And as you mentioned, like up to 88% of what we put on our skin ends up directly in our bloodstream.
Yeah.
So I want you to think about that. And I want you to think about how many personal care products we can use in any given day, from facial products, shampoos, conditioners, body lotions, deodorants. All of those have the potential to really add to that chemical load in the body.
Like we have a product for every different thing.
And what's in that product and how many chemical compounds go into making just one aspect of that product. So in a given day, we can have as many as 168 different chemical compounds on our body. So I want you to think about that for a minute.
Wow.
So as you look at ingredient lists on your products, it can be overwhelming. I look for ingredients that I actually know what they are. So it says it has the essential oil
that you can pronounce.
Yes, of bergamot. Well, that's fantastic. I love that. It's going to make me a little more sensitive to the sun, but I need to know that. So in terms of like what I would call more commonly used skincare products, there are a number of compounds that you absolutely want to avoid anytime in your life, and especially during pregnancy. So we're beginning to see more labeling for things that are called parabens.
Mm-hmm.
And what parabens do is they are preservatives in our skincare products. They extend that life of the product. But parabens are known to be xenoestrogens or endocrine disruptors. So they mimic estrogens in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are trying to get pregnant, or you are pregnant, or you're lactating, those are times you do not want to be messing with your hormones in your body. So those are an absolute no for skincare products and body care products, because you'll see them in all of those. In terms of products that like give our skincare products a really nice slick consistency, those are called phthalates. Those are another absolute no during pregnancy. And we're also beginning to see more and more products listed that they don't have those compounds in them, which is a really good thing.
That's great. Yeah.
There's a big movement in the skincare industry to get some of these really unhealthy compounds out of our products. So phthalates, again, known as an endocrine disruptor, really not healthy. They can impact our fertility. So that's something I want you to be very mindful of as you're looking at the labels on your products. Other things to look out for, formaldehyde. So I think back to like high school biology class and doing dissections, and what were those specimens cured in? It's formaldehyde. Like it's an embalming fluid. Like I wouldn't just knowingly splash that on my face. In fact, you want to keep it off of your skin.
And it smells terrible.
It smells terrible. And yet it shows up in skincare products because it's a preservative. It makes things last longer. So an absolute no anytime you see that on an ingredient deck when you are pregnant, lactating, or trying to get pregnant. So another thing I want you to look out for are fillers. So those are typically listed as silicones. Like dimethicone is a really common filler that you're going to see in skincare ingredients. Oftentimes it's one of the first ingredients listed. Number one, it's a really cheap ingredient to make. So if you're spending $150 on a serum and that's the first ingredient that's listed, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
What it does is it makes our skin smooth. It fills in all the fine lines, makes our makeup go on beautifully, feels really good.
Are there any equivalents, like natural equivalents you can think of that could give us sort of that same?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the ingredients that I really like for boosting that plumpness in the skin are going to be like hyaluronic acid is beautiful. I also use a daily clean zinc SPF formula on my skin. So an SPF 30, it's a zinc blend that just melts into your skin. And what I love about that is it acts as a makeup primer. So that's oftentimes where you see dimethicone is in makeup primers, because we want that smooth application. We don't want that makeup settling in our fine lines.
Yeah.
So a really good, clean, zinc-based SPF.
Does it feel like it absorbs well? I know some people have, questions about like zinc and the white sort of film it can leave.
So it depends on your product. So Brooke and I carry a product line called Suntegrity. They have one of the highest ratings in terms of safety and cleanliness and in terms of SPF products that are out on the market.
Okay.
I love them because they go on really white and you're like, oh gosh, I look like that lifeguard at the beach.
Right.
And as soon as it warms up on your skin, it just blends in.
Okay.
And then that zinc also nourishes your skin. It's beautiful if your skin tends to break out. Zinc is really helpful.
Yes, it's great for the gut. It's great for the immune system.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, Brooke is your partner.
Yes.
Brooke Havis
Yeah.
at B Theory.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we did a tremendous amount of research in looking at the products that we carry, that we use during our facial treatments, and that we recommend for our clients. And I'll talk more about those in just a few minutes.
And actually, just to be clear too, we're gonna at the end of the show, in the show notes, I'm gonna make sure to provide everybody with a link to some of the top chemicals, because we actually have a pretty extensive list, as well as talking about my next question, which we might just dive into, around clean, green products that you recommend, that you've vetted, and that just, are products that you feel are generally going to be safe during pregnancy, postpartum, that we can feel good about putting on our bodies, as well as maybe our young children.
Yeah, great. So things to note when you're looking at skincare lines, definitely we want to be looking for paraben-free, phthalate-free. I also want to talk a little bit about artificial fragrance.
Yeah.
So we see fragrance in so many things, and this is another labeling concern to be aware of. Products can say natural fragrance. That means nothing. There's basically no regulation in this country over fragrance formulation. Those are considered proprietary blends, and the manufacturers do not have to list all the ingredients that go into them. That's why it just says perfume or fragrance on your product. Even a skincare,
Sneaky.
I know, it's super sneaky. Even something that says natural skincare means nothing. Try to go for unscented things. Also, if you like essential oils, make sure that the essential oils that company uses are therapeutic grade, organic. However, I want to say that doesn't even really mean much, because there's no regulation over essential oils in this country. I also want you to be mindful about essential oils, because you can overload those in your body if you diffuse them, if you are putting them on your body, if you're using them in your skincare products. You see where I'm going. Yeah. Do not ingest essential oils while you are in the process of trying to get pregnant, while you're pregnant, while you're nursing. Yeah. Unless you're working with a really skilled clinical herbalist, I think it's just best to err on the side of safety and caution with that. So as you look at skincare products, number one, can you understand what most of the ingredients are in them? Is it cocoa butter? Is it shea butter?
Pronounce
is it jojoba oil? All of those things are beautiful for our skin. We vetted so many different lines because we wanted to ensure that we felt good putting it on our own bodies. I myself am a breast cancer survivor, so I am really meticulous about what I use, because I don't want estrogen production bumping up in my body. I don't want anything that's carcinogenic. So that's really important for me. And then as I see all of these amazing humans that I take care of, I want to ensure that what we're doing is really clean for them, no matter what their health condition might be. So looking at skincare lines that we love, we work with a company called Green Envy. They have all plant-based products. They are made here in the US. They're very mindful about where they source their plant-based products. So in terms of wild crafting, making sure that those products are not over harvested. So we have to be mindful of the environment in these conversations as well. I love Green Envy because the list of ingredients that they use that are contraindicated during pregnancy, there's about 7 things on that list. And those are connected to not using salicylic acid. So that shows up in the form of willow bark or birch bark. Salicylic is great for helping clear the skin. It's what's called a beta hydroxy acid. We see those very commonly in products for acne treatment. Don't want to use that during pregnancy.
So I think that's just a really good point. It's that, and a lot of these products, as natural as they may be, coming from plants, it's still just such a good idea to check in with your practitioner to make certain that
absolutely check with your doctor, check with, and as I said, a skilled herbalist, check with a reputable esthetician. Like it's part of my responsibility to know what is contraindicated in terms of treatments and products for you during your treatment. So I try to be very mindful of that, keep a big list in my room so I can always double check. Other things to really look out for in skincare products when you're pregnant, an absolute no is anything that is a retinoid or retinol. Those are very toxic for the body during pregnancy because they can cause birth defects. So there are some other alternative, safer retinols that are plant-based that you can talk to your practitioner about. Those are things you can consider. Another skincare line that I love is a company called Keat Botanicals, another beautiful, made in the US, woman-owned. All of these products are so simply made. You can read the ingredients on their skin cleansing oil, and it's 4 ingredients that you will recognize.
Yeah.
So really safe to use during pregnancy. We love them at B Theory because they really help people with the redness, those types of conditions, and they're absolutely safe to use. And I will say you have to, again, be mindful of the essential oils that can be in some of these products.
What about for people who are concerned about hyperpigmentation?
Yeah.
Are there certain chemicals that we should be aware of as far as those go?
Yeah, I love that question. Thank you, because melasma is a really common condition that can come up for so many people during pregnancy. And what that is it's this deepening, it's almost like a mask around the mouth and the chin. And this area of the face really represents our hormones, our hormonal cycle in the body. So we get that hormonal congestion here. Melasma is really tricky. Number one, you have to wear sunscreen to keep it from getting worse.
Yeah.
So it's a buildup of melanin within the layers of the skin. The melanocytes get activated by the hormones. They overproduce melanin. They're trying to protect the skin from the sun.
Yeah.
It's this beautiful thing that our body does. But what happens is we just get this deepening and then of color, and it's hard to get it cleared out.
Okay.
One ingredient you absolutely want to avoid, and I would say at any time, but especially during pregnancy, is called hydroquinone. It's an absolute no.
Okay.
It essentially bleaches and brightens the skin. It's very effective in removing pigmentation, but we're now seeing that there's a lot more research coming out showing that it can be potentially carcinogenic, and it can possibly impact our immune function and immune health as well, but absolute no during pregnancy.
Okay.
There are a
Good
lot
to
of other
know.
things that we can do once we get through pregnancy to really help brighten the skin.
Great. Thank you for that. I'm not sure. From my experience, I've used like a high dose vitamin C for that. I don't know what your thoughts are, but that does seem for me to help.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a really good, clean vitamin C is essential every day. Even if you don't have pigmentation, you're like, why do estheticians always say you need vitamin C? Number one, we live here in Colorado. The intensity of the sun, the altitude, the dryness. We're also exposed to a lot of heavy metal toxins in the air based upon where we live. In the foothills from the mountains, we have these air streams that bring down these heavy metals, and we're exposed to them on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Also pollution. So vitamin C is this potent antioxidant. It helps protect our skin.
Not to mention collagen. It's super important to the synthesis of collagen.
Yes.
So.
Boosts that production of collagen, keeps our skin firm. It does brighten the skin. So I like to use like a 20% formula on a daily basis, helping to brighten pigmentation. And that's something that you can safely do during pregnancy, is use vitamin C.
Is there a brand that you like, or?
Well, we work with the Green Envy brand, and also in Keat Botanicals, they have a gorgeous rosehip serum that I love, completely safe.
Wonderful. Thanks. Just so everybody's aware, I'm going to make sure to include in the show notes a lot of these recommendations so you don't have to keep track.
Yes.
So I'm also just curiously, would you tell me a little bit about your experience with skincare going through your own pregnancies? I mean, your boys are young men now.
Yes. Yes. So I did not have a lot of consciousness about what I was using on my skin when I was younger. And I would say at the time, we didn't have as many resources available. We certainly didn't have as much information. I love seeing the trend in skincare moving towards clean ingredients.
It's very exciting. Yeah.
I struggled with hormonal acne. I've actually struggled with hormonal acne my whole life. Once I got through pregnancy and I was lactating, I had like the biggest, deepest cystic acne break out. And I remember going up to Tallgrass Spa and Evergreen to get a facial. Like, I was embarrassed to go in because my skin looked so bad.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known then what I know now about things that I could have done to really help improve my detox pathways in my body, to really help move those congested fluids in my skin. I mean, there's so much that we can do without even using products to really help heal and clear the skin. Absolutely. I would have loved to have known those things.
Yeah.
And it's that those memories and that kind of like pain and shame that I felt even in my teenage years through my 20s and 30s, that really inform how I work. You know, I really have this desire to help people get to the bottom of what's living behind those conditions, because I know it isn't just what's happening on the skin.
Absolutely. Yes. I fully agree. Lee, you are brilliant. And just, I know that you vet the products and you guys really do your research. And I just think I appreciate that so very much. I also this is so important to have this conversation, absolutely about what's going on topically, and in some future episodes, I'd like to talk a little bit about our detox pathways, which you kind of hinted at, because that's another place where, we're not going to do a full detoxification or anything like that when we're pregnant or lactating, but there are so many things we can do, so many nutrients that we can take in that support those detox pathways. So we will have a deeper look at that. And then hopefully down the road, I'd love to talk even a little bit more about some of the manipulation, like the gua sha and the lymphatic massage and that kind of thing with you as well. Yeah. Is there anything else? Actually, could you tell us where we can find you on social media?
Yes. On social media, we are at B Theory Aesthetics, and that's AESTHETICS. And then you can also find us on our website at www.btheoryaesthetics.com. We are working on building our blog, so we have a lot of good information and education out there. Everything I shared today, plus a lot more, I will post on the blog there. Also, Green Envy has this beautiful thing called the Nix It list. So it's 20 top ingredients to look for in personal care products to absolutely avoid.
Wonderful.
And I'll put that information up there as well.
Great. That reminds me too, the EWG, the Environmental Working Group, is another really great resource.
Yes, love the EWG.
Yes. Well, Lee, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure to have you, and you've shared so much valuable and useful information. I can't thank you enough.
All right. Well, thank you, Carla. It's just delightful to have this connection with you and to be bringing this good work to everyone who has questions and needs support.
It's been fun.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Take care. We'll see you next time.